Of all the Chris's that make the box office in Hollywood, this Chris might be the most successful.
That was my idea. That wasn't even Steven Spielberg's idea. That was my idea.
He's an incredibly naturally funny guy, just very, very gifted. You know, he has no choice but to be funny.
His dedication to his roles can make his body switch from the everyday guy to a first-class superhero.
Like I like to say, he's an ordinary man with an extraordinary job.
He's been the easiest person to have an on-screen romance with.
I think Chris Pratt absolutely defines like the everyman, like the guy who like everyone wants as their drinking buddy just to like go out with.
I think Chris is a very unique movie star in that he is a combination of being a big masculine guy, but also a very vulnerable guy.
Journeying from Hawaii to outer space, evolving from shrimps to dinosaurs, let's take a close-up on Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt was born June 21st, 1979 in a town called Virginia, Minnesota. But that's not what he considers home. His family moved to a place called Lake Stevens, Washington when he was still pretty young, and that's where Chris ended up going to high school and ultimately graduating. His father remodeled homes for a living, and his mother worked in a supermarket. When he was in high school, Chris competed on the wrestling team, and he tells a story about talking to his coach about his future. And Chris says that he told his coach that I know one day I'm gonna be famous and make a ton of money. He said, I had no idea what I was gonna do. I hadn't even thought about being an actor yet. But he had this feeling when he was in school that one day he was gonna be big.
After high school, Chris actually went door to door as a salesman, selling coupons for things like massages and oil changes. And he happened to be really good at it. And he said that it prepared him for Hollywood because he got used to rejection, but at least they don't stick your dogs on you when you're rejected there.
Chris Pratt has one of the best getting discovered stories we've heard in years.
In about year 2000, I was 20 years old and I was living in Maui where I'd been living for about a year with a bunch of friends of mine, and I was working as a waiter in a restaurant called the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company.
When he was working at Bubba Gump's, he was so good at his job and so loved by everyone that he got a plaque that said Gumper of the Year. So perhaps someday in his house, that's gonna exist right next to his Oscar.
And one day, in comes the actress Rae Dawn Chong. Well, at the time, Chong was about to make her directorial debut with a short film called Cursed Part 3. It's a horror movie.
Through the course of me being her waiter, she told me that she was in town auditioning people for this movie that she was doing. And I was like, well, you better give me an audition. And she did. She gave me an audition, and you know, I did it, and I ended up booking the lead in her little independent movie she was doing. And 4 days later, I was in LA and in Hollywood working on this movie, absolutely green, no idea what I'm doing, completely faking it.
Nobody ever ends up seeing it, but it doesn't matter because now he's in LA and he's on his way. The first time Chris Pratt even entertained the idea of one day becoming an actor was when he was in school. The whole family had gone to see his older brother Cully, who he really looked up to, in this sort of Christmas play. And Chris remembers looking over at his mother and seeing that his mother was crying because she was so proud of her son. And Chris thought, okay, that's what I want to do one day.
When Pratt first got off the boat in Hollywood, and I mean get off the boat because he arrived from Hawaii, he had this sort of like long hair, like this kind of tan stoner look, and everybody told him he looked just like Heath Ledger. And then he saw Heath on the cover of Vanity Fair and was like, oh my God, I really do look like this guy.
Watch this, it's a real stunt. Oh God.
So Chris was a big athlete in school, played football, was on the wrestling team, and one of the things he could do really well is take a fall. So for a while growing up, he thought that maybe he'd be a stuntman one day in the movies, and he used to practice falling downstairs just in case he ever got the opportunity.
Chris Pratt really debuts his career on screen with the 2003 action movie The Extreme Team. He also played in 2005 in the Strangers with Candy movie with Stephen Colbert. That same year, he took part in a TV movie for the Sci-Fi Channel, Path of Destruction.
Pratt's first regular television role was on the series Everwood, and was followed closely after by a stint on The O.C. So after an appearance in the 2008 action film Wanted, Chris actually had his breakthrough role on Parks and Recreation. He was cast as Andy Dwyer, who's this really sort of lovable, heart of gold type of guy. He wasn't supposed to be a series regular, but everyone fell in love with him, including audiences. He's just kind of like the drinking buddy that everyone wishes they had. Just a total sweetheart, good-natured, but not the brightest of people.
There's a great story from the set of Parks and Recreation. There was one scene where his character was supposed to show up in a doorway naked and shock Amy Poehler's character. Well, he's covered up and he just kind of fakes it, and then in one take, he decides to really be naked for real. And NBC was not too thrilled about that. He did get reprimanded, but guess which take they ended up using in the show?
Yeah. Would you like to play with them? Oh, would I? Yeah. I call blue one. Oh. Okay.
There's a part of Chris Pratt that still has that sort of juvenile sense of humor he had when he was a kid. He has this running tradition going with his friend Nick Offerman, who they work together on Parks and Recreation. And ever since then, they have this tradition of, I'm just gonna say it, they send each other pictures of their poop. When asked why he and Nick do that, Chris said, you know what, we're buddies and it makes us laugh, which I think is a pretty good reason. So if you have the chance to go through Chris Pratt's phone, you've been warned.
In 2009, Chris appeared in the horror movie Jennifer's Body, starring Megan Fox, and in Bride Wars with Kate Hudson and Anne Hathaway.
In 2009, Chris Pratt got his first leading role in a movie. It was called Deep in the Valley. Nobody saw it, nobody remembers it, but what is notable about it was that in one scene, Chris shared the screen with none other than Kim Kardashian. Chris said that she was very nervous to do the scene, but also very sweet.
Well, who's it gonna be? Huh? Who wants a shot at the title?
Chris Pratt met Anna Faris on the movie Take Me Home Tonight.
Anna Faris is, first of all, Anna and I grew up 10 minutes away from each other and didn't even realize it, which is weird. So we come from the same area, which I just thought was wild. And when I found out that Anna was doing this movie, I was just sold. I was like, oh my God, please let me get this movie, because I was such a fan of her work. But then to find out that she grew up 10 minutes away from me, it was really nice.
Chris Pratt has been, he's been the easiest person to have an on-screen romance with, because he's so gregarious. He's such a guy's guy. He's an incredible actor. He's so good. I really don't think he has any idea how good he is.
He must have taken the title literally, because he did take her home and they ended up getting married in 2009.
Well,
Hey.
I just think that she is so awesome, and I have this thing that, what is this in my pocket?
They have one son together named Jack, and it's one of those relationships and families that looks so great from the outside. It can be tricky being in a relationship with another famous person. You know, when Chris got together with Anna Faris, she was more well-known than he was, and they would go out to parties, and Chris said that people would look right through him like he wasn't even there. And then he hit it big, and these same people would come up to him at a party and say, I always knew you were gonna make it. And he's like, yeah, I don't quite believe that. So they both had to learn to take it all with a grain of salt.
The same year was released What's Your Number, once again with Anna Faris and Chris Pratt, but this time the star of the movie was the other Chris.
Most guys I know obviously go through a phase of wanting to be single and wanting to have their kicks and have fun, but eventually you really want to hit the second chapter of your life and find the person you're meant to be with.
He's such a dreamboat. I'm married, I love my husband, I think he's a dreamboat too. But Chris Evans is for sure a dreamboat.
In the movie What's Your Number, I play the character Disgusting Donald. He is a guy who, when Allie, Anna Faris's character, dated him, he was 400 pounds.
In 2011, Pratt had his breakthrough dramatic film role in Moneyball.
In this film about a baseball team, Chris co-starred with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill.
The journey of this film, it was, what inspired me was hanging out with real baseball players. I mean, this film is very authentic to the sport of baseball.
And it was a real departure for him because he was sort of known for this, really funny character. But his part in Moneyball is very serious, and it showed a range that he'd never shown anyone before.
I don't even know where to begin. I've never done anything like this before. I've got 10 million reasons why this film inspired. I'm inspired right now.
Oh, got it! Chuck and Doug. Chuck and Doug.
Tom, what a surprise. Oh, you guys must be here for the receipts.
In 2012, he took part in the 5-year Engagements, produced by Judd Apatow.
His comedy tends to be grounded in a bit of reality, even if it's a little absurd sometimes. It's grounded in a sense of just like, hey, we're people and we're trying our asses off to be good people.
In the movie, he played alongside Jason Segel.
Chris Pratt plays my best friend Alex, he's just a comedy savant. I've never been around somebody so quick and so funny, and you know, the movie started out filming-wise with a good deal of me and Chris, and it really set a tone for me of how high the bar was raised comedically. You know, you had to come in really, really sharp.
Friend, freaky blonde, forgot her name. Molly Wilson, Lisa Still, Persian chick from Taco Bell, tattooed chick from Sausalito, the girls who drove from Chino, that big chick from Applebee's, the Stanford chick who had the meltdown.
Chris Pratt's physical transition from the doughy guy on Parks and Recreation to an action star in Jurassic World is pretty dramatic.
After losing all the weight for Moneyball, Chris had to gain it back for the film 10 years and then immediately afterwards lose it again for the film Zero Dark 30. So it was almost like he was this sort of yo-yo dieter for screen audiences. Zero Dark 30 not only marked a sort of turning point for audiences' minds about Chris Pratt, but really about himself and his own mind.
After seeing myself in Zero Dark 30, I was forced to reimagine what I was capable of as an actor, because there was a certain physicality to that role that I had never had in any of my previous roles.
He realized that he really could be an action star.
All I wanted to do was just not embarrass him in this movie. I worked really hard to do what I could to be believable, but I know for sure I could never do what they do physically, just not capable of doing it.
All of his yo-yo dieting actually got a lot of recognition from Entertainment Weekly, who featured him on the cover and did a whole story about his losing and gaining weight over the past 12 years for roles.
During the year of 2013, Chris was seen in many supporting parts. In Spike Jonze's science fiction movie Her, opposing Joaquin Phoenix, in Delivery Man with Vince Vaughn, remake of the French-Canadian film Starbuck, and in the infamous movie 43 with his wife Anna Faris.
I play Julie, this is Doug.
Julie and Doug.
We are very much in love.
Big time.
And we both want to take our relationship to the next level.
Wild Style, we need your help!
Guys, I need your help.
No, we need your help!
In 2014, everything is awesome for Chris. First with the Lego Movie, where he tries himself to voice acting.
Oh man, it's the best. It's the best to be able to have your voice used and your spirit used, but not worry about what you look like. It really allows you to be just totally free, and you do end up making a lot of big movements and silly faces that you might not be able to make on camera because you'd be self-conscious. So really, at least for me, the experience has been something that was really liberating.
In the Lego Movie, I play Emmet, and he's an ordinary, run-of-the-mill character. This guy, he's just a guy who is desperately wanting everyone in the world to think that he's special. Chris and Phil do a great job of helping to paint the picture of what's happening around you. You're doing the voice, but you want to understand the world that the character is living inside of. And they were able to show me some of the temper art and a few of the roughly cut together scenes that they'd already animated. They could give me, through the course of this process, a great sense of where my character was and the world around me, what it looked like and what I was experiencing in that way. So that was very helpful.
Chris Pratt is such a naturally funny guy. He's got this real genuine warmness to him. He is such a genuine person. You know, he has no choice but to be funny.
When I look at Emmett's little yellow adorable face, I see myself looking back. They actually did a good job of capturing everyone's facial expressions. The character, even despite the fact that it's a little Lego character, does resemble me.
Oh, right! The cop was talking about the Craggle. He said, in 3 days, President Business is going to use the Craggle to end the world.
One thing that Chris Pratt does when he's on a set trying to get geared up for a scene is he'll listen to music that'll get him in the right mood. He actually has a bunch of files saved on his phone under a folder called Acting Music, and there's things like Sadness and Love and Brother's Funeral and my personal favorite, Wonder of Life.
Oh man, it's definitely surreal, and it is a lot of fun to be out here and see this number of fans. It feels good.
The Lego Movie was followed closely in 2014 by Guardians of the Galaxy. Both of them were two of the top 5 highest grossing movies of the year. So that absolutely catapulted him into silver screen stardom.
The Guardians of the Galaxy is consisted of members, all of whom are very selfish for the most part.
They're renegades, they're radicals, they're Rolling Stones, they're the forgotten.
They all have these individual goals of what they want.
They're the thieves, the bounty hunters, and the neglected children that just want to get away.
Chris Pratt wasn't exciting because he was Chris Pratt. He was exciting because I never thought we'd find the guy. We screen tested a lot of people before we came to Chris.
Initially, Chris Pratt didn't even want to audition for the movie Guardians of the Galaxy. What happened was, not long before that, he had an audition for the movie G.I. Joe, and he said it was a horrible audition. He felt overweight and out of shape, and he was embarrassed, and he just didn't want to put himself through that again.
And then, boom, I knew within, a minute of his audition that he was the guy.
This is the first thing of the day?
Yes.
First thing of the day?
First thing of the day.
All right, let's have a great Thursday, everybody.
One critic of the movie said that Chris is absolutely overflowing with charisma and calls him a blissed out space cowboy, which I love.
Stunts 101, always warm up. Got it. Let's go.
Getting cast in Jurassic World was a dream come true for Chris Pratt. He replaced Josh Brolin in the lead role, and he was such a fan of Jurassic Park, he called it my Star Wars. So you can just imagine sort of like little Chris Pratt having his dreams come true when that moment happened.
There's a real balancing act with this movie because you want to honor the first Jurassic Park and you want to honor the franchise, but you also want to create a movie that would stand alone and isn't just a retelling of the first movie. The challenge was how do we tell another chapter of this that feels fresh, that feels new, that introduces new ideas, new themes to an audience, but also one that will honor the franchise and pay homage to it, but without lampooning it. It's a very fine and delicate balance.
There's like no words to describe how great Chris Pratt is, and so just instantly working with him, I knew that this was a rare gift to get to work with someone like him. Not just because he makes it really fun or he makes it really easy, but because he brings his sincerity and his humanity to just every single moment of every single day.
I'm gonna jump over it. Clap, swan dive, a 90-degree twist.
So, Colin, what you're saying is rather than do this,
twist like this,
here, just go
roll,
there.
land on my feet,
That's
and then baseball slide down to the ground.
It makes no difference to me, Chris. You make the call.
Hope to get it in one take.
So he went from playing a space cowboy to an actual cowboy in the remake of The Magnificent Seven with Denzel Washington in 2016.
A lot of talent on the screen, I always kid Chris, I call him Jurassic Boy. He's a very, very fine young man, spiritual young man, and a good, I call him a good kid because he's a kid to me. He's a grown man, but he's really a good dude. I like him a lot.
Chris Pratt's in there, Denzel's in there, Ethan, Vincent, Peter, Antoine directing, and it's a Western. I mean, it can't get better than that. It's just too sexy,
Yeah.
This is awesome, and it's just fun to work with people that are they want to do good work, and they're, everybody's on the same page and want to get it done and have fun doing it.
And with all that he's dealing with now in his superstardom, it doesn't seem to affect him. He's been raised right.
Real dust, real heat, real sweat, a lot of real blood, some real tears.
His next 2016 film was Passengers with Jennifer Lawrence.
So we're looking at upwards of 2.8 billion lights.
Chris Pratt is the hardest working person on a movie, including the crew, including everybody. I mean, he is the hardest working person I've ever met in my life and has such an amazing attitude.
They're all really some of the finest actors working, period.
It was a box office success. It made over $300 million, but it has only 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. And I think it's because his character does something completely unredeemable in the film.
When I read the script, I could not believe that I would be given an opportunity to be in this movie. Sometimes you read a script and it just grabs a hold of you and does not let go. I was never going to let anyone else play Jim.
So it makes him, not very sympathetic. So audiences didn't enjoy it, but they still went to see it because Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence, that's an undeniable combo.
This is the kind of movie that is going to blow you away. And I think that's what you like in movies. That's what you call a stunt.
And action? In 2017, he rebounded with his partners of Guardians of the Galaxy in the Volume 2.
We find Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord. In that role, he adopts at the end of the movie, which is the guy who's going to take care of this band of misfits and be the quote-unquote leader of this group of heroes.
I mean, it's hard to be, that guy who's in a bad mood or complaining, oh, I hate this makeup. You don't want to be that guy, but it's just like it's positive energy. And like I said, when you're spending 12, 13, 14, 15 hours on a set, man, you really rely on that. You need it. And we can always count on Chris for that. We can always count on him to make us laugh.
He has a vulnerability that, say, the classic movie stars sort of hint at, whether it's Humphrey Bogart or Gary Cooper, but that Chris really brings that to life on the screen.
In the movie, his character got to meet his father, played by none other than Kurt Russell.
He's been a master of his art form for decades, and having an opportunity to work with someone like that who's such a master is sheer joy and something you can check off the list.
I thought that there was great opportunity here to not just do something that was entertaining in the form that I'd been watching it in, but there was a father-son relationship here that I thought was very relatable and very interesting.
I asked him if he'd be my dad in real life, and I'm still waiting to hear back.
Growing up, Chris totally idolized his father Dan. He wanted to be just like him. So it was very difficult for the family when, during Chris's senior year, Dan was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. Dan ended up passing away in 2014, and by this time, Chris was already on Parks and Recreation, and Dan was watching a lot of television in the final years of his life, and seeing Chris on that show, it was something that they were able to bond over during the final years of Dan's life. In the last few years, Chris Pratt has been in some of the biggest blockbusters ever at the box office. He has not gotten any Oscar love yet, although he did get one of the best honors you can get in Hollywood, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
On April 21st, 2017, Chris Pratt received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, which is pretty impressive if you ask me, going so quickly from television to a feature film action leading man. I mean, if anyone could define overnight success, I feel it's someone like Chris Pratt.
When Chris was a kid, his hero was Jim Carrey.
I am so tough in this movie. I am the man that every man would love to be.
He used to crack up his friends with bits that he would pick up from Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. So when Chris hit it big, he finally got the chance to meet his idol, Jim Carrey. And he said that Jim Carrey gave him one very valuable piece of advice. Jim told him that there's going to come a time when you're going to have to prove that your family is more important than show business. From the outside, it looked like Chris Pratt and Anna Faris had the perfect Hollywood marriage. They were both really funny, they were both talented, they had great careers, they seemed to have a good sense of humor about themselves. But all is not what it seems from the outside, because in 2017, they announced that they were getting a divorce.
Star-Lord and the Guardians were also seen in the great Marvel crossover, Avengers: Infinity War.
Pretty amazing to be here, yeah. We've got, everywhere you look, you see a star from the Marvel Universe. It's been 10 years in the making, this film coming together. It's truly an unprecedented cinematic event. And I know we're all thrilled to be here.
Chris Pratt is just so completely likable. If you follow him on Instagram, he recently posted a picture of his new brown cow, and then with the headline, "Welcome home, baby girl."
2018, Chris returned to dinosaur hunting in Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom under the helm of the Spanish director J.A. Bayona.
There's dinosaurs everywhere and they're flipping out and killing people. Let's go.
I'm thrilled to be part of such an iconic saga. It means the world, really. I'm just so happy to be here and happy to bring the fans something hopefully they really like and honor a legacy, a movie that, a franchise that I've been a fan of for longer than I even knew I'd ever be an actor. So 25-year anniversary, and we're bringing the next installment.
I think Chris Pratt absolutely defines the everyman, the guy who everyone wants as their drinking buddy just to go out with, and then the guy that girls girls feel like, is really attractive but still somewhat attainable. And I think this is the key to his allure.
It's so fun to be here. You're truly the best fans. It was a giant hailstorm outside and still people didn't go anywhere. You wanted to be here. You want to support us. And welcome to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Chris Pratt has gotten really rich as a result of being in hit film after hit film, but he still loves the same pastimes he loved growing up in Washington. He loves to go fishing, he loves to work on cars, he loves to go hunting. In fact, he says that his idea of therapy, put him in the woods and give him a rifle or a bow.
Coming back from Jurassic World, Chris reunites with his co-stars of The Magnificent Seven in another Western movie, The Kid. Afterwards, he's back in The Avengers and also in the sequel of the Lego Movie, The Lego Movie 2, the second part. Rocket ship to stardom, Chris pursues his course on a good trajectory. The Gumper of the year 2000 is now the guardian of many cinematic universes. Everything is awesome for Chris Pratt, the regular superhero.
And so he's a guy who's like traveling through space, getting to do whatever he wants. And that's where he starts.